Hey everyone, welcome to the Conquering Together podcast. My name is Ian, and this is my dad.
I'm Jared.
If you're new here, our mission is to create strong and present parents in their children's lives.
And also influence the next generation. Welcome to the show.
With the divorce, then I would go to your house, your apartment, once a week. It was on Wednesday nights.
Nope, Tuesday nights.
Nights.
I wanted Wednesday nights, but we settled on Tuesday nights.
Tuesday nights, and then on every other weekend.
Yes.
So
basically, every Tuesday you would come over, because it was such limited time with you guys. Because I had to, your younger brothers played soccer, so they were at soccer practice, and I didn't get you guys till 6 o'clock because I was working. So, from 6 until like 8:30, I think they had soccer practice. And so, trying to get home, and I've not even got home yet. So usually I think we'd eat out, or maybe I'd have a dinner cooked from the night before. I don't know. I can't remember how I did it all. But yeah, that's kind of how it went. And I would tell my therapist this. I'm like, how do I spend time with my kids? Why are they coming over here and I get like 15 minutes with them before they have to get to bed and get to school the next day? And he's like, well, Jared, try to make it memorable. I'm like, how do you do that? And he's like, just, have a discussion time with them. Just let them talk. I'm like, okay, I'll try that. And you remember that? You remember those little, hey, let's have a talk kind of thing.
Right.
I did more talking than you guys. I think there was only one time you guys grilled me on things. I think you were trying to process it all.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like, Dad, why did this happen? What are you doing here? And what's this? And but yeah, it caught me off guard. But yeah, basically, I didn't want you guys to just be on electronics all the time.
Yeah.
So, because you're kids. Mm-hmm. You want to be on your phones. You want to watch TV. You want to play your video games.
Right.
So I instituted a no electronic Tuesday night.
Yeah.
When you came over for the weekend, be on it all the time, but just Tuesday nights. What'd you think about that, by the way?
Obviously, how do you think a kid would face that?
Come on, that was creative parenting, right?
Yeah, so as a 13-year-old kid, that's how old I was, and as a 13-year-old kid, I get home from middle school. I'm not allowed to have my phone out in middle school either, and I kind of want to have just time to unwind, and I saw it as very unfair. I didn't see the value in it at all because it just wasn't clear to me that this is so that we can have more quality time and so that I can, we can grow our connection and just talk about things. I didn't see it in that way at all. I thought you were just trying to
be overbearing.
Right. I thought you were just enforcing a rule on us.
And making it a crazy rule, too.
Exactly. So I thought it was insane. And I think that we definitely rebelled a lot.
It really was.
We definitely rebelled a lot.
A little bit, just a little bit.
Yes,
just a little bit.
Yes. So, and as kids, obviously, I think it would have been awesome if I could see the intent behind it, but I didn't. And you wanted us to just follow that rule.
Honestly, if I had money, we would have gone out and done things. But
yeah,
I didn't. So I had to do what I did. But what I should have done is but you guys, I could have done walks. We could have gone outside. We could have gone, of course, I don't think the pool was open at the time at the apartment, but we could have done that. There were things I needed to do better too.
Yeah.
So don't just take it hard on yourself.
Right. And I think that even when I'm eating, like a lot of people, I like to just have something entertaining to watch as I'm eating. I wanted to look at my phone as I'm eating my meal, sitting on the couch, and I'm over here like, this is genuinely torture. Like, I would love if I could just have some entertainment as I'm sitting here eating in this boring apartment. I wanted some stimulation.
It was kind of boring.
I wanted stimulation, and I didn't get that.
Nothing in that apartment.
But yeah, so these times coming over to your apartment, I definitely had a lot of resentment towards it. I did not enjoy it. There were very few times where I did enjoy going over there, and not to mention the fact that I already had lessened respect for you in that. So
you did love the air mattress room, though. I remember that. You actually, sorry, Graham, you put a hole in Graham's air mattress. Do you remember that? Where we had like 3 air mattresses in there for you guys to sleep in. It took up the entire room. You guys just bounced from one to another and then popped it.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. So that was the humble beginnings of that apartment.
It definitely was.
Us sleeping on the air mattresses. But
you got to make do.
Yeah. So I just did not like being there for the most part. And because it would always end in a lot of arguments.
That it would.
And because obviously you would see the side of me that didn't respect you at all. And
I tried to enforce it.
Exactly. And when I would not give respect to you, then you would obviously fight back, try to enforce it. And then now we're in this big argument. And a lot of the times, I mean, I remember
pissing contest on who's going to be who's going to win.
Yeah. A lot of the times I hated it.
And as a dad, you're not, trust me, he's not going to bow down.
Yeah.
He's never going to bow down.
Butting heads and and because I had no respect for you, then I never gave in because you were the authority figure. I just continued to fight, and I saw you as the enemy genuinely a lot of the time. And so this resentment slowly built up over those few months that I was stuck to this parenting plan of going over there. And I think, we finally reached our breaking point for sure.
Did.
Why again we're here today. So there kind of quickly run me down of your perspective of the night that things crashed and burned.
As long as you give your perspective.
Yeah, of course.
But there was a lot leading up to that, and we can talk about that another time. Mm-hmm. But we've already talked about how that was a Tuesday night.
Yeah,
those wonderful no electronic Tuesday nights.
Yeah,
but I think we got back to the apartment like late that night because practice ran late, and then we got to pub. I know it's Publix chicken tenders.
Yeah,
can't go wrong with a Publix chicken tender.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Publix chicken tenders, and I was really I was stressed. I was stressed from the day. I remember. I was so stressed. But I kind of let up on the no electronics. Remember that? I said, you guys can watch TV, just don't be on your phones.
Yeah.
And I said that because I knew if you got on your phone, I'd never get you off.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, I'll give you a break. I'm exhausted. And the way I handle stress, especially a lot of stress, is I rest. My body has to rest. And it was after we had the chicken tenders we ate and whatnot, and I fell asleep. I don't remember how long I fell asleep. It felt like 5 minutes. It could have been longer.
I think it might have been at least an hour. Maybe
was it? Oh my gosh!
Yeah, because I remember it was.
Hopefully, I don't get in trouble.
It was late. It was late.
It was late. It was. Yeah. And I woke up, and basically everybody was still awake, mm-hmm. and I see your brothers watching TV, and then I look over at you, and you're on your phone,
mm-hmm.
and I tried to be calm, and I remember, at least this is how I remember it. Correct me if I'm wrong, please.
Right.
I remember saying, guys, get up. It's late. Let's get to bed. I don't remember how long it was in between each one, but I remember, and as a parent, we kind of have an internal clock of how long we're going to allow you to not respond to us. My internal clock is, very short. And that's something I have to work on, and I've been working on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys didn't even move. It's like I talked to the wall or the air.
Yeah.
And man, I blew. I remember it. I jumped up and I called each one of you out. I was like, you did this, and Ian, why are you on the phone? Get off the phone now and go to bed. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm yelling at that point. I mean, looking back at it, it's like, well, duh, don't wonder you guys didn't really want to move. Now, your brothers did.
Yeah.
You did not.
Mm-hmm.
And you stayed on that phone.
Mm-hmm. I was a very rebellious 13-year-old.
I could sense it. Trust me. So the dad mode kicked in.
Yeah.
The not nice dad mode kicked in. And I said, okay, we're going to play that game. Fine with me. I'm going to take that phone.
Yeah.
So I reached over and I just grabbed it. It's hard to admit, but you were strong as an ox. I remember thinking, holy cow, this grip is strong. But I'm like, I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
Literally, I ripped that phone out of your hand. I remember it.
Yeah.
And I walked back to that. Towards the kitchen to the bar area. And do you remember throwing a fork at me?
I don't remember the fork actually. No.
I remember the fork.
Yeah.
The fork went in my back. It didn't go in my back. It just hit my back.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wow, he just threw a fork at me. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And I slammed that phone down on that bar, and I remember you saying, I think it's when you said, I can't remember, it's one of the two instances you said, if you break that phone, you're going to buy it. I said, no, I will not.
Yeah.
That time you said, it's not your phone. You can't take it. You didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
And I said, I sure can. It's my house. And you still didn't move from that dadgum chair. Mm-hmm. Still, I was like, all right.
At this point, we're butting heads. At this point, we're all both fully in.
Massively butting heads. And I'm just like, all right, what else can I do to make you move? I'm thinking, well, apparently his phone is so important. I'm in an apartment complex. If I put that thing outside, it's going to be gone. So literally, I open the door and I slide the phone out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I remember telling you, I said, that phone, you better move because that phone's going to be gone in 30 seconds. And I think you said something damaged the phone or something, you're paying for it. I said, no, sir, I will not. And then I think you finally got up then. That's when you finally got up. But, and you brought your plate over. Mm-hmm. And I remember, because I'm sitting here standing behind the sink.
Yep.
You're walking towards me. The trash can is over here. Mm-hmm. And you take the plate, and instead of going to the trash can, you throw it at me. I'm like, oh my gosh, come here and pick this stuff up. I think you went back and sat down. Yeah, you had to have. You had to have.
I did.
You did. You did. You went back and
I
sat
took the
down.
plate. I tossed it into the kitchen. I don't specifically remember throwing it at you, but I remember I was like,
It was
I'm
not like
gonna
at me,
throw
but
this
like it
plate
was
away.
definitely the trash can was here. It didn't even go
No,
in the area
I
of the trash
purposely that plate was going on the floor in that moment for me because if you want to, it was a one-up battle for sure.
can. Oh, definitely. And then you went back and sat down, and
Yes.
it was. If it wasn't on then, it was on now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going over there, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And I grabbed you by that sweatshirt, and I yanked you out of that chair.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize is how big you were. I think you were like 5'9", 5'10". You're about as tall as me, and I think I had 50 pounds on you. That's about it. But you were still strong. And I remember I lost my balance trying to get you up.
Yeah.
And we both fell. And once again, dad mode kicked in because I'm sitting here thinking, well, he's going to get up. And you, in my brain, you didn't get up as quick as I thought you should.
Yeah.
You stayed on the floor, and I said, okay,
Yep.
that's fine. I can drag you anywhere. And I just grabbed you by the back of your sweatshirt and dragged you from almost the front door to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Almost to the bathroom, because then we had it was the hallway, and then you put your arms there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's, if you think I was over the line then, I was definitely over the line after this. I reared back. I mean, I reared back as far as I could, and I just came down. And I was meaning, I don't know what was going through my head. I was meaning to take your arm off the wall.
Yeah,
Now,
you were-
again, this is not justification for what I did. It's just what I was thinking. Well, apparently I'm not very coordinated, and I hit you in the head.
Yeah.
And
And it was a slap upside the face.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
And on the side of the head.
Yeah.
And it did disorient me a little bit. I mean, obviously at that point my hands were off the wall of me trying to restrict
and
you
then
pulling
I
me down
dragged
the
you
hall.
the rest of the way to the hall, to the bathroom.
Yeah, and you pulled me down as I'm shocked and disoriented for sure. And after that point, for me, I get up and I'm like, wow, that was a hard hit. That's probably one of the hardest hits I've ever had, against me. Like hardest hits I've had, and
you play football.
yeah, and I play football, and I mean it was pretty much a palm hit on the side of the head, and so I get up and I'm in pure fight or flight mode for sure, and
You punched
get up, rear back, and I punch you in the side of the rib right here as hard as I can.
No, you punched me right here. I remember it.
Right. Yeah. So I punch you there, and just as obviously defense.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at you in the face, and you're giving me like a really stern stare.
Yeah, and it was at that moment, again, no justification for anything I've done, but it was at that moment I realized I went too far. Should have realized that a long time ago, but I did not. I was forcing you to respect me and obey me.
Right.
But I realized at that moment that was too far. I wasn't going to hit you. I wasn't going to do anything else, but I couldn't back down.
Right.
Because if I backed down, you won.
Yeah. And I think it's important to highlight, I was not a kid that just hit
No.
at all. I don't
You
think I'd
didn't.
ever hit
No.
a parent
No.
before
So
that.
you never struck back at me. That was the
No.
first time. And that's what I'm saying is I realized that, and I realized this is not good. This is not good where we're at. This could be very, very bad. Again, little slow. I have to admit that. Yeah.
And so from my
Basically-
perspective, I'll say sitting here looking at you, and you know, as you were saying, you couldn't back down. And so I'm looking at you in the eye after I just did that. And you're saying,
Hit me again.
hit me again, do it again. And obviously I tremble.
Not great words,
I tremble
but I
here.
did say it.
Yeah, and I tremble here, and I back down from doing anything else. I was not going to go
Yeah.
any further than that. And luckily after that, you know, the brothers had come and step in. And,
They did. They did. They did.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was actually your brother who basically brought me back to reality
Yeah.
and said, "Dad, do you realize what you just did?" And it was at that moment I was like, "Wow, what did I do?"
Yeah.
And I tried to apologize. You remember that?
Yeah, and so for me after that, I definitely went into a shutdown mode. I
Didn't blame you.
I just shut down, and it became almost like I was kind of like out of body. I just kind of walked into the room. I laid on the mattress, and I believe I just laid there and fell asleep rather quickly. And you would come up to me and you tried to apologize after that, right? And I'm just sitting there, laying there, not saying a word, just in complete shock. And I'm like, I want to fall asleep as quick as possible just to get out of it. I'm too stressed, too heightened. As you said, when you get stressed, you fall asleep. I wanted to just fall asleep as quick as possible.
Hard for me to sleep that night.
Right. And for me, so I fell asleep. And another big thing on why this became such a big thing is actually when you were pulling me out of the chair and we fell, you know, I'm falling to the ground and you actually fall on top of me. And so I land on the ground, obviously trying to catch myself, and then you put all your weight on me along with the weight of myself. And that's a lot of weight for a skinny 13-year-old. I was big, but I was skinny.
You were.
I was somewhat frail. And so I land on my hands right here, and so there's an injury that comes from actually a lot of skaters when they're skating and they might land on their hands.
Injured your wrist?
It is, yeah. According to the nurse later on. So a lot of skaters, when they might fall, they'll land and catch themselves with their palms, and that will cause an injury right here in their wrist. And there's a bone right there.
I was never told how it actually happened.
Yeah. So there's a bone right there that gets fractured a lot of the times. For me, it was broken in half. And that's where it came from, is when you fell on top of me, caught myself, had all this pressure, that caused the initial fracture is what the nurse had said. And then when I went and punched you in the side, that further increased the problem. I thought that I had originally injured my wrist because I punched you.
Yeah, that's what the police report actually said. That's
Yeah,
the
and
only
that's what
thing
I
I
always
knew, is it said you hurt yourself from punching.
Yeah. And so I think obviously it came from that, and then made it worse when I punched you because the bone was actually twisted and out of place completely. So I obviously didn't know it in the moment. Too much adrenaline that I had hurt my wrist. But the next morning I woke up and I couldn't move my wrist. It was stuck right here next to my chest. And
I had no idea.
And you had no idea. And I didn't say a word to you that next morning. I went to school holding my wrist right here, close to my chest. And I wanted to escape you as quick as possible. So I went to my first period class and I said, hey, I really hurt my wrist. Can I go to the nurse? And I go to the school nurse, and that's when I notify my mother about that too, that I hurt my wrist. And so this becomes a big ordeal. My injury, and it's tied back to me and you, we had an altercation the night before. And so from the nurse, then the cops come, and that's when the police report starts. And this is now a domestic abuse case at this point.
I had no idea until 2 days later they knocked on my door as I was getting ready for work.
Yes, exactly. So I guess, of course, from my perspective, I'll kind of run through, like, when I was talking to the police, I, was explaining to them kind of what happened, and the fact, like, how I broke my wrist and everything, and I wasn't really sure on the, and yeah, so basically this altercation happened, and now I have justification for all the disrespect that I had towards you, and this starts a long legal battle.
That it does.
For that, and I guess we can sum that up short and sweet, that it ended in a 1 year restraining order.
Actually, a little over a year.
Yeah, so a little over a year restraining order, to where now I legally did not have to see you for over a year.
Legally didn't have to see me. I legally was not allowed to contact you, send you birthday gifts, or anything else. You were no longer, in my opinion, my son.
And I no longer had a dad, from my perspective. And so that initiated that, and that 1 year restraining order kind of turned into a 6 year hiatus.
Yeah, that it did.
It did. And
But at least was able to text you happy birthday,
yes,
Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, hope everything, love you, buddy. I still have that year's worth of text messages of no response. It's probably over a year, wasn't it? I don't know. There was a year of zero response from you.
I think it was over a year, for
Gotcha.
sure. And so once the restraining orders were lifted, as you said, then you were able to message me, and you did message me.
And I gave you a birthday gift. Remember that?
I do. Yeah.
What was it?
Was it that puzzle?
No, it might have been. There might have been a puzzle. But I got you football cleats that were worn by the Titans.
That's right. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Yeah. That was the first gift. Okay.
That was the first gift.
Okay. That's right. And yeah, so you did reach out to me. I never responded. And to me, getting away from going on the Tuesday nights was a great thing, in my opinion, because during that time where I had to go over the few month period that I was forced to go and see you on these days, I was so short-tempered, more than I had ever been in my life. I was short-tempered with everyone that I interacted with, and I was always mad. I never saw anything good out of life.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Was it really the disrespect was it just the disrespect that you had for me? Or was it, because this is always something I wanted to ask you, was it that I was no longer daily in your life?
Yeah. So the main things in my mind were, of course, I didn't respect you for the reasons that we've talked about. You weren't there in my life all the time. As you said, yes, you weren't a daily in my life. And that was weird. It's like,
and you kind of had to take the man of the house role.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get to. I think you. So why would I listen to this guy that's not always in my daily life, for one? But when you up and left because of the divorce, then of course I'm next in line. I take the role as the man of the house, and as a 13-year-old kid, it's weird. I don't fully. It took me a while to fully understand my role, for sure, and I'm basically my mom's emotional support. I become the emotional support of the family. Things are kind of put on me without thinking about my feelings or my emotions, because I'm supposed to be the one that kind of handles everything.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
You didn't have to. I would have done it.
Right.
I would have been there. Married or not,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been there.
You would have, and I think for the kids, you still were for the time being, but for my mom, no, I had to do that, and so I definitely bared the emotional burden of a lot of things, and literally I would have to be the man of the house because you're physically not there in that moment. So I felt like in the face of danger, I'm the first one to call. Of course, I never had to step up to that, luckily, but I felt, oh man, I'm the one that has to be big and strong in the house to fight against any danger that might face us. A burglar or something, I would have to be the first one to go after him. Because I didn't think that, I was like, I don't want my mom to deal with that. I want to do that for myself. My brothers and sister, they can't deal with that either. So I took that physical role as the man of the house as well.
But that's also why I tried to live so close.
Yeah.
Because I wanted you guys to know, just because your mom and I weren't together, I didn't leave you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand that my point of view is not normal. It's not normal. Not everybody thinks that way. I mean, to be honest with you, if I can talk about this, is in one of the things I actually asked my lawyer, I said, can I stay at the house while I have my time with the kids, so that you guys never had to come to my apartment?
Yeah.
Legally, I wasn't allowed to. And I get that. There's a lot of legal stuff you have to go through for that.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted to do. And I get, I had a different viewpoint. But I wanted to do that because it's not your job to be the man of the house. It's not your job to take care of it. It's your job to be a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I apologize about that.
Yeah, and I forgive you, and I'm glad that it made me obviously into the person I am today, because I stepped into that so early. I feel like I always approached mature topics quicker than a lot of people. I feel like I obviously, in a way, like, I guess, matured quicker than a lot of kids my age, because I had to face that hardship earlier than most people. I had to grow up a little quicker. And so now I face this. You were completely out of my life.
Yep.
And I'm on my own now. But the big thing for me, I was relieved, actually. I felt a lot of peace after it because I now didn't have to go and argue every single time I saw you. I didn't have to go and be forced to go anywhere. I had freedom of where I wanted to go.
I'm glad you had peace because I had none.
Yeah, and that's what kept me for so long from reaching back out to you, because
Fair enough.
I wanted to avoid the struggles that I would face when I would go see you. I wanted to stay away from that as far as possible because I had bad experiences with that in the past.
I get it.
And of course,
but how are they now? How are the experiences now?
how the experiences? Obviously, that peace was not true peace because that's what sparked us to reignite in the future. because I did feel like there was more to be done, and that this was not the end of the story. So for you during that time, what are some major moments that kind of continue to change the trajectory that you were going towards?
Which way? Down or up? Because I went both. Which one do you want to talk about?
So through that incident, there was a lot that happened in those 6 years for both of us. And this is kind of where we grew separately.
Yep.
We grew on our own paths. I became the person I am in my own way, and you became the person you are in your own way. There's a lot that goes into that. I think if we could talk all day about each and every single event.
Definitely.
But for you, what was talk me through the ups and downs? What sticks out to you?
The one that's coming to mind right now is literally the night I lost.
Mm-hmm.
I sat in bed and I found this picture of you and your sister giving me a hug at Christmas time. You'd given me well, you didn't really give it to me because you're little kids.
Yeah.
You'd given me a gift and came up and gave me a hug. And it was a Mercy Me song that I just put that audio to. And honestly, if I could remember the name of it, but it's like, it just hit exactly how I felt.
Yeah.
Because it was something about like how I'm losing bad right now. And I was just like, yeah, I'm losing bad right now. I just lost my son. And I remember even during the whole incident, we were sitting in the pool, just kind of chilling out and just having some fun and everything. And I remember talking to your brothers, and I said, guys, you do realize win or lose, Ian's gone forever. Whether I won the case or I lost the case, I figured you were gone forever. Because I didn't see how there was a way out of this.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you recover from going to court with your kid?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that doesn't make sense. And well, I just, I didn't see the plan.
Yeah.
But I will say that those are things that stand out in the mind. And honestly, I just started going to a downward spiral. My drinking went through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I've said to you many times, I've said to a lot of people, it was going to be a bottle or a barrel that was going to be in my mouth.
Yeah.
I chose the bottle.
Hey guys, if you like what you heard, we appreciate a like, share, or subscribe. We hope it helps you as much as it does us. Whether you're on the uphill or the downhill, you are not alone. Until next time, keep conquering together.